Alright, let's see if all the chats are still working. Classic. Classic. Alright, what's the deal? Oh, they did both work. Sweet. Didn't even expect that. Alright, 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 alright. So now I need Stream Manager, Stream Mangler. Pop out chat. There you are. Okay. Now the last thing I need is OBS needs to be able to show that. Yes. And oh crap, where is it? There. It's like not the full resolution image though. That's the problem. How do I get the full resolution of that? Save image as. There we go. Okay. Window is Photos app. Why is that not working? Oh, come on now. Somehow it can't capture the Photos app window. That's super weird. What? Frickin' OBS, man. Does it need to be a game capture for that to work? Goodness. Rather than a window capture? Let's see if that works. Hey, there we go. All right. Go to the bottom. Okay, so now we've got that and the other thing. Cool. All right. Let's space some programs. To the moon. Now, I will point out, I've changed some mods. So, for those following since the last episode, we've got a couple differences. I forget exactly what I had done or removed, but I didn't have the Scatterer and Eve configuration for the beautiful planet, so now that's back. So we have beautiful Kerbal. I got rid of TUFX, which is just a shaders mod that I don't really think was doing all that much to make the game look better for me. I also figured out the problem with the scaling of, what are they called? The procedural parts, like procedural fuel tanks. So I figured that out. And the way that works is essentially I had to go into, just ask me on Discord if you want to do it yourself, because it's hard to explain all at once. But basically I went into the file, the procedural parts file. There's a tech tree file. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Okay, there's a tech tree file in there, and then there's an upgrades.cfg configuration file, and you change all of the required techs to be the start tech. And then you can see here, all of the upgrades are here, and we can just purchase them. Which, even though it says entry cost 4,000, it doesn't. So that's also kind of weird. So we'll buy all these. And that will allow us to make all of our procedural parts, whatever shapes and sizes we want, which is nice. And then from there, the other thing we changed was getting, oh, what did I do? Shoot. Oh, the reel shoots. I was just screwing up. So the reel shoot system, where you modify parachutes and stuff, it's just in a new place now. So let me show you guys where that is. So yeah, that was kind of a user error problem. It used to be different, and I didn't know it had changed. And it was extra confusing that there was this button here that further confused me to make me think it was broken. But it's not broken. If you have a parachute, all you need to do to configure it is you right click on it and hit show parachute editor, and there you go, reel shoot parachute editor. So this thing's sweet, and basically you can set the deployment altitude, you can set the auto cut altitude. The pre-deployment speed is how long it takes to like ramp open the thing. So I generally like those to be a little longer. And then the wanted touchdown speed figures out like basically how much parachute are you going to need to get the thing that you've currently got selected to go that fast. And so then you hit apply settings, and then it figures out how much parachute you need. And also we'll have a mass related to that and a cost. So it'll weigh more if you're slowing it down more. So if I wanted a touchdown speed of 4 meters a second, check out our mass here. We're at 180 kilograms. If I apply that, it's 186 kilograms because we need more parachute to make this go slower. You can also have spare parachutes, which I don't know why 5 is the default for that. It looks like that actually doesn't change the weight. Could I have 50? No. Could I have 10? You can have 10 spare chutes, and that doesn't change the weight at all. That feels kind of weird. But yeah. What's the deployment timer again? Deployment timer. I can't remember exactly what that does. Yeah, there's also different materials. You can use nylon, Kevlar, or silk. Kevlar costs more. Doesn't seem to mess with the weight very much. The auto cut speed is when you're going that slow, it'll cut the chutes. Landing altitude, I'm not sure what that does. But I always set must go down to deploy to true. And then usually I'll set deployment altitude. And I'll do altitude pre-deployment. So that way it doesn't pre-deploy until you're at the altitude you want, which is nice. So that's usually what I do. Anyway, we have some missions to work on. is kind of annoying that that little thing is floating around the whole time while you're selecting this stuff. That's actually very bothersome. Is there a way to fix that? It doesn't seem to go away no matter what I click. Huh. Because it's like selected in the parachute editor. Weird. Anyway, I don't need to mess with parachutes all that often. And yeah, tweak scale stuff changed around too. I got the new and improved one, and I don't know what's going to be different about that. But hopefully just less bugs is the main idea. I have no contracts, so let's go get some contracts. Contracts are the spice of Kerbal. Okay, so a moon flyby, a Kerbal powered landing. Powered landing is an interesting challenge. A manned altitude record. Explore the moon with a probe. That's going to be very difficult. So I think we need a satellite first. So let's get a geostationary satellite first. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no contracts for that, so I'll just have to pay for it myself. And I don't think 67,000 points was enough for anything. What about one of these? Moon probes. We have to land probes in 3 different biomes for that. Media gets you more reputation. $15,000 funds when science is transmitted or recovered from new biomes. Oh, that's kind of cool. Why is their surname all Kerman? They're all brothers and sisters. Probe Frenzy would be nice. But I need 200 reputation for that. Okay, let's design our first satellite. Satellite designing time. So we would like to put these in geostationary orbit. I think... Do I have a geostationary thing in here? Semi-major... I swear I have it somewhere in here. Maybe not. Is it in here? Geostation. Yeah, there's the geostationary height above that body. So for Kerbal, the geostationary height, because Rescale changes everything, so that's why I need this. You can see it's a nice little formula here. Don't ask how I calculated that. I have no memory. It has to do with the sidereal, or sidereal, I don't know how you say that, rotation period. Because to be geostationary, it's what matters is how you're rotating relative to space. Because one day is slightly different than one rotation of the planet. Because one day happens as you've moved around the sun slightly. So the rotation you end up at, let's say at noon, when the sun is directly above your head at noon, versus the next day at noon, you're actually pointing a slightly different direction in space because you moved around the sun a tiny bit. And so the sidereal rotation period is how long it takes for the planet to do exactly one full rotation, not relative to the sun, just one full 360-degree spin is a different amount of time than a solar day, which I think is also super interesting. So like every time we spin around the sun, we actually rotate 1 extra time that we don't even notice. So that's super interesting. Anyway, 9.8 million meters. So that's what we're going for here. So then if I'm going to calculate the delta V I need to get to 9.8 million meters, oops. What I also think is interesting here, what's the total cost is 108? That's not right. Wait, what? Shouldn't that give me... Oh, I need to put negative 600,000. This is above ground, or above sea level. Which planet is Earth closest to most of the time? Oh, I remember that's like an annoying answer. I forget what it is, but it's not the one you'd think. And I think there's kind of like a, it depends on what you mean by that. I feel like there's, I remember watching a video that was related to that at some point. Anyway, the 1920, negative 1920, 230. It's Mercury. Yeah, rather than Mars, which is what you'd think. Okay, so yeah, there it is. So basically, when you're just sitting on top of the planet, you essentially have an apoapsis of 0 and a periapsis of, you know, negative whatever. Wait, I have an extra digit here. And so the energy you need to get that up to, you know, our 110 kilometers is about 4,200 here. And we need about 6,000 delta V. And the reason those numbers are different is because you're not perfectly efficient. You're losing a lot to gravity, right? Every second you're thrusting against gravity, you're losing 10 meters a second, roughly, of delta V. And you're also losing some because you're not thrusting always in line with your prograde direction. So those are cosine losses, sometimes what I've heard those called. And then of course you the third one, drag, just atmospheric drag, also takes away. So it's actually surprising that you can get to space for only 6,000, given you could, if the planet was a point mass and you started where you started, it would still cost you 4,200 delta V to get to the orbit we're talking about. And all those extra costs only add up to about 1,800, which is not that bad. Anyway, I'm looking at how much delta V will I need to get to geostationary. So I have my starting apo and peri, and my new apoapsis is going to be 9,800 kilometers, about 10 million meters. And that's going to cost me about 2,100 delta V. So I need about 6,000 to get to orbit, and another 2,100, we'll call it 6,200 to get to orbit. Because the delta V cheat sheet says 3,400 times this, what's the square root? Let's do it right here. Square root of 3.2 times 3,400. That is not the format I want. Okay, so 6,100. So we'll say 6,300 is a fairly safe estimate to get to orbit. 63 plus 21 is 8,400. Technically, it's more efficient if you do it all in one step, but it's easier this way. So I need 8,300 delta V. That's no joke. definitely gonna want one of the little guy engines. So the Spark has an ISP. Oh, I'm sorry. Whoops. So now we're playing the game again. I could look at one of these other like cryogenic engines that uses liquid methane. 335 ISP is pretty good. 330, 370 for the liquid hydrogen engine. So that's something. The problem is, I want to say liquid hydrogen costs electricity to not there's boil off if you don't use power. So probably just go with the standard here. Gold standard. And this thing is gonna need to have all sorts of stuff. We're gonna need batteries for dark side of the planet. We should be able to change that to a polygon with 6 sides. That's kind of fun, so we can make it match. There's so many textures, and yet they all look the same except for a few of them. I always feel like there's a lot of texture types that they just don't have. Like, where's just like generic metal, you know? Like, rather than all these fancy looking textures. Like, I want something that just looks like a hunk of metal. Hard to find. I don't know. If anyone knows where to get more texture packs, I'm all ears. I do like the gold foil ones, but I end up using those a lot. Okay, so that's going to be my electric charge. That is 700 electric charge. Let's see what our dark time is. So Ampere is the old one I used to use. There's a new one called Systems Monitor that we're going to try out. So vessel orbital altitude is going to be 9,800 kilometers. And that calculates the dark time to be 3635. Now, in true nerd fashion, I do have on my sheet a dark time calculation somewhere. Curious if it agrees. Where's my dark time? Oh, it's right here. So dark side time. Oh, if I just set this 9,800, it's telling me 36 minutes and 36 seconds. Let's see if that's accurate. 36 minutes and 35 seconds. Boom. They agree. So that means whatever antenna I have on here, I need to be able to support about 40 minutes of dark side time for that. Now, let's look at our antenna options here. Combinability exponent is a big deal. That means each one of these will contribute 16 million meters. If the combinability exponent was 0.75, basically I think the way that it works is like past the first one you only get, how does it work? It's not just 75%. I forget exactly what the math is, but it's like all of them would be, you'd sum it up and take it to the power of 0.75. Is that right? No, I can't remember. You also need to look very carefully. Antenna type direct is very different than the antenna type relay. So we need relay satellites because this guy is going to be a geostationary that's meant to sit above the planet and just relay stuff. So ideally we want one that can go all the way to the moon when it's relaying. So this one seems like a decent choice. How big is that? It's medium size, and it weighs 110. That seems just better than this one. That's 180 kilograms with less range. Yeah, what's this one? 64 versus 102. Yeah, so this is the ComNet antennas extension mod that adds that. You can see they're not all balanced perfectly against each other. Okay, and those are all direct. So I'll need a few of these. I also have the mod called... where is it? There it is. Antenna Helper. So Antenna Helper does these calculations for you, so you can see what distances you can talk to something. So like this is telling me I can talk to the, what is that? Something space network. At a max range of 809 million meters with this antenna. If I have 2 of them, then we can go to 1 billion meters. If I have 3 of them, I can go to 1200. But often I want to pick how do I pick this? Add ship to target list. There it is. And then you pick a target, and then you can select it. And so basically you can see what distance could this ship talk with itself at, which is going to be the same range. And how far is the moon away? So there's so many little questions you got to answer when you're planning this stuff. So the moon, I'm just looking it up on my sheet real quick. Its apoapsis and periapsis are 38 million, and the min-miss is 150 million. So if I can get something like this that's got a range of 233 million, that's pretty good. That will actually be able to reach to min-miss. Part of me wants to do a 4th one, though. Got a little bit of extra. Because I want the signal distance to be like in the yellow. Or a min-miss probe. Maybe I'll just do 6. That's so much extra mass though. Whatever, I'll just go with 3, that's fine. Alright, so there's those. I can move them down later. Now, dark side time calculations. These use... not 34. That's not right. There it is, yeah. They use 0.06 EC per second, when they're passive. They use more when I'm transmitting science. That's what that would be. Yeah, 3.8 per minute. Okay. And that tells me I've got an hour and 2 minutes, which is actually more than I need. So this could be a little shorter. A little short for a stormtrooper. Let's go with, yeah, 48 minutes. That is a nice little extra amount. What is that? 630 out of 255? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. And then we'll need a couple solar panels for when we're not on the dark side. So yeah, that's it. I do often like to have 3 solar panels. Can you tweak scale these? Maybe we can do that. That doesn't seem right. That should change the charging rate. Charge rate 1.6. 24.6 per minute. It should be 1/4. If it's half the size, it's 1/4 the area, right? So that's half per second compared to about 2 per second. Yeah, I think that's right. But why is this not updating? This doesn't seem to pay attention to tweak scale, unfortunately. Huh. Even if I take it off and put it back on, it's not looking at the tweak scale version. Interesting. Interesting. So... I mean, either way, I'd have plenty with those. Does Ampere pay attention properly? It does. It actually does work properly. But then you have to turn off, like, the reaction wheel or whatever. It's like, you're not constantly using the reaction wheel or the data transmitters, so those shouldn't be part of the calculations. Wait a second. Normal. Oh, do you have to extend these for this to see? No, normally it shows the drain of the antenna as an option here. Weird. Huh. Well, now nothing's working, eh? I swear this normally works. What's going on with these? Normally the antenna has 2 different drains. You know, there's like the data transmitter and then the regular, but that doesn't seem to be showing up for these. Interesting. The ComNet consumption. Yeah, I don't know why that's not showing up in Ampere right now. It's interesting. You know, that got bugs in both. This one doesn't see the tweak scale numbers, but it does see the consumption. Oh well. The important part is the dark side and just making sure you have something to charge. And it's gonna, you know, charge up in the amount of time you're in the light side, which is plenty more. Okay, so now I just need enough delta V to get this thing maneuvering around. And I also need some command and control. Now, I have nerfed RCS heavily into the ground. I forgot to talk about this on the last stream. I made my own mod that nerfs RCS modules so that, like the reaction wheel modules, so that they're not as busted. So you can see these ones only have 0.02 kilonewtons, and I think I reduced it by a factor of 10 or 20. I don't even remember. It's a lot compared to default values, but then it uses less power as well. It's not the same ratio, so it's using more power per torque than it used to, as well as having way less torque. So these are nerfed heavily by me, and I think that makes it a little more fair. So this pod by default has reaction wheels of 0.01. So these little guys each are twice as powerful. 3 of them seems reasonable. So that should help me actually turn the ship. We'll test it out when we're in space, but yeah. I love me a fillet cylinder. That always makes it feel a bit more, I don't know, I like the look of it. I don't know if it looks more real or it's more space efficient often. Just like the way it looks. Okay, Delta V. Basically, I want this to get into space, and this is what will get us into the higher orbit. So we'll maybe do about 2,500 Delta V. And I'll move these down because they don't really need to be that high up. And with any luck, this little guy should be able to be a nice geostationary relay satellite. I don't think there's anything else I need to do. Power, transmission, battery, power, generate battery, store battery, use battery, maneuver, fuel. Yeah, that's all we need. So then now we need to get this thing into space. Okay, I love me some procedural fairings. Said that a density of 0.02 is a little more fair. Right, 1746 for mass, and if I use the stock one, it would be 1761. Yeah. Whoa, I said 0.03. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that's about the same. Cool. So this bad boy is what we've got there. And now I need a fuel tank and an engine underneath that. Go for the normal 1.25 meters size. Whoop, whoop. So you can see this is now unlimited. Woo! We could have all the fuel. What engine? Is the Terrier engine going to be too small? It might be too small because this is going to need to circularize the whole thing, and I generally don't love to take 5 ever to circularize. So since I don't want to take 5 ever to circularize, I probably shouldn't use the Terrier because that's a 5-minute burn time right there. Yes, it's more efficient in terms of the ISP. This thing gets 345, which is nice. It's a nice ISP. But the problem is that it takes forever. So we could use the swivel. That gets 320. The Reliant doesn't gimbal and only gets 310, but it has more thrust. But I need a gimbal for sure. So apart from using a liquid methane engine, that only gets 335. That's not even that much better. That one gets 425. Whoa, liquid hydrogen engine. What's that do if I move over to LH2? Is it just LH2 or LH2 plus ox? It's like LH2 plus ox gets us not as much delta V, but that's because it's way less dense. Look at the weight of this. We got 5.5 tons if we had that version. And if we had the same size with the swivel engine and regular fuel, you can see it's 9.2 tons. So if we go to the same weight of this, 9.2 tons, you can see we get 3,700 delta V versus 2,700. So there's an extra 1,000 delta V for the same weight. And the burn time is 140 versus 120, so it's almost as much thrust. The insulation cost is important. That's how much electric charge you burn per second to prevent the liquid hydrogen from boiling off. I actually think I like this version. Since this is going to be the circularization, it doesn't need to last a super long time. So we're gonna go with a fillet cylinder, my favorite shape. And then we can use the fillet, and that's an easy way to get a nice looking tank that's a lot bigger. I think 7 meters is about right, actually. Okay. So then now I just need about 2,000. Is that right? No, 2,500 on the first stage. Which I should be able to get going with that if I just put some big ass solid boosters. Maybe? Let's try it. Coupling. Engines. Where's our biggest SRB? The Space Y10R. Oh yeah, I love these guys. They have a gimbal, which is really nice. Oh, that's only 3. 2,000 meters a second. Need a little more than that. You know what they say, more boosters. Let's try 4 gets me 20. Oh, that's not even at sea level. I'm like really close to the amount of delta V we need. I could make that a little longer. Let's go for 7.5 meters. And then that stage is right about 4,000. So then stage 1 plus 2 really just needs to be like 2,200 for stage 1. How would this look? If I just added more of these. Feels a bit wasteful. But that stage would have another 840, so that would work. What if I just did 2 of these doubles? Would that be better? Do it in 2 separate stages. Of course it gets that wrong. on the staging. Fire the outer, drop the outer, fire the inner. That gets me a total of 2140 delta V, but less thrust. So you get 2140, but then less thrust. What would I like to do? Also just, you know, throw some random crap on. Make it look real Kerbal. I do have the launch clamps, finally. I like that. I guess I could increase the scale of these, right? Yeah, there we go. There's 2300. Makes them a bit more expensive. Scaling up things does bad things to price. So now... yeah, most of the cost is in these solid rocket boosters. Is there a more efficient booster? This guy is 195 and 220. The Thumper... oh, it's actually better than the Thumper, which is the default vanilla one. That would be even worse. Maybe I just do 5 of these. Does that get me the delta V I want? Yeah, 2077. Not quite. Why don't I just make this even longer? Let's go to 8.25 meters. And then we've got 4180. So now I really do just need about 2000 delta V. And slightly scaling these up should be able to get us there. There we go. All right, here we go. Geostationary satellite is about ready to go. We need to grab our Patreon names. Who's the next? Who's... shoot. I forgot which randomizer I was using. I think it was this one. Yeah. We already had the Tom. Did we see Glim yet? Wait, save this. I think Tom was the last one. So this is the KSS Glim. Glim... relay. Now, staging. Check, yo... what is it doing? Is it like not... there we go. Alright, we stage that, we jettison those. I should move these down so they jettison, hopefully, away from the craft. I actually want that to go off at the same time as engine. Deploy the fairings. I also like to do more than 2 fairing doodads. I think it looks better. I think odd numbers look cool. 3 or 5. Alright, let's do this. Let's see what goes wrong. It's a KSP promise. If it doesn't explode on the launch pad at least twice, you're doing something wrong. Okay. Alright. Well, hasn't exploded yet. And I think time of day doesn't matter, so let's just go for it. Nice. I'm gonna tilt over slightly. Oh, it's very responsive with the gimbals on these things. I'm gonna tilt over to 10 degrees even, because these are gonna give me a lot of thrust. Might be too much, actually, on stage 1 here. We don't want our apoapsis to get too high from the SRBs. Oh, geez. Might be over thrusting. TWR of 10. Jeez. Yep. That was a little too much. Alright, let's, in the next flight, we'll tilt over slightly more, and I will, tilt over slightly more, and I'll lower the thrust. Yeah, I didn't even look at these numbers. Starting out at 3.44 is a bit high. I'll lower that to like 2.8. Go to 80% thrust here. And then this should get us a bit more time to tilt over there. All right. Here we go. Tilt over to 10. Maybe, yeah, we'll do like almost 20. I guess that's 15 degrees over. Punch through the clouds here. Tilt over a little bit more. Uh-oh. Want to turn over. Okay. Yeah, something went wrong. Jeez. Wait a second. Why did my fairing... Why did the fairing jettison? Did that somehow get... Oh, what the... Yeah, somehow when I made the fairing into 5 pieces, it, changed where the fairing was. Okay. And I might need some fins, after all. Just to help you go in a straight line. I don't even know if those fins will be big enough to make a difference. But they'll do something. Also, Lodro, you waved earlier. I saw that, but I forgot to say hi. Hello, if you're still here. Hope you're doing well. Tilt over 10 degrees. And then once I'm at 10 kilometers, maybe I'll tilt over a bit more. Try to get a bit more horizontal speed going. Uh-oh. Too much. Prograde. Just stay prograde. Alright. Get out of here. Ooh, they missed each other. That's fun. Alright, switch to orbital prograde. Ugh! Crap. The good news is the atmosphere is getting less dense, so I'll let myself flip over a couple times and then I should be able to hold. Prograde here. And go. Okay, and next time you should be able to stick with it. Oh man. That was funny. Alright. How do you learn this game? Now there's a question. First of all, the way that I play is far more numbersy and scientific-y than you have to. You certainly don't have to play that way. Sorry guys, that's super loud sometimes. But that's just such a cool look. Deploying the clamshell fairings. Oh, we made it to space. Alright, so I have a minute. Sorry, I need to do this and then I'll explain how you learn this stupid game. I have a minute 46 burn time. And so yeah, I'll wait till I'm at about a minute to apoapsis. Yeah, so Mint L, I think just getting the game and playing the base game, it has some tutorials that are fairly helpful. So I think that's a good start. And then from there, just kind of deciding what it is you want to do and then go and do it. You don't need a ton of mods to play the game. I have a billion. Technically, you don't need any. I think having at least like the Kerbal Engineer mod, so there are certain numbers that the game doesn't show you that are helpful to have. But most of the mods I have are just adding on. The base game has most everything you need. Okay. I kind of am just seeing where that apoapsis time is. I want it to slowly be shrinking, even when I'm fully thrusting prograde. Oh, yeah, something like that. And so now most of my thrust is going towards, you know, a sideways motion. My cosine loss is less than 10 degrees. So my apoapsis is being raised slightly, but that's okay. That won't change too much at the end of the day. And we should be done burning this stage about the same time we hit our apoapsis, which is the goal. Because if you finish burning right as you hit apoapsis, then you'll be perfectly circular, which is what we want. Eccentricity of 0 is the goal. Anything below 1%, though, is usually good enough, at least for a smaller orbit like this. Okay, so now we're growing again on my time. Okay, I'm still pretty much above the thing. Oh, you know what I should do is deploy. Where's parts commander? Oh, shoot. I don't know where it is. This one? Yeah. I love this mod because you can just select your like antennas and extend them. Boom. And then we can find our... Oh, I need to finish circularizing. Okay. I waited a little too long. And then we can go back to our panels, extend those, our little baby solar panels. And I went too far. Crap. I will slowly turn to retrograde and fix this. Did I study astro rocket physics in college, or did I learn it myself out of interest? The second one. And you really don't need much to play Kerbal Space Program. A lot of the numbers, you don't actually have to be able to calculate anything. I went ahead and watched a bunch of Scott Manley videos. He's super well known in the Kerbal Space Program community for just having good teaching videos, and surprisingly, the math is not complicated. Like, it's high school level math, and that's it. You don't need any, at least for the types of math that I've done. If you really want to do like transfer window math, that gets into the realm of super complicated, but the basic math is all just trig. So you're doing like square roots, squaring, and cosines and sines and all that sort of stuff. That's pretty much it. Like, there's not a ton of crazy complex. So right now I'm trying to get my eccentricity closer to 0. So I'm actually burning a little bit retrograde here. What's up, Martin? So right now I am straight up wasting fuel in the name of a circular orbit. And there we go. 00029. That's pretty good. So there's our orbit. And I just realized I don't have maneuver node planning because I haven't upgraded that yet in the Space Center. So we're going to go to the Space Center real quick and upgrade that. Hopefully I have the money for it. How similar is it to reality? Actually quite similar. The main differences are that the rockets are far more powerful in this game than they are in real life relative to what you're doing. And they're also... Where is it? Mission control? Oh, I need to upgrade both of these? That's more money than I thought it would be. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to do it without, I have to fly without a safety net here. But, like, all the physics are the same as reality. So, the main difference is that they're not in-body physics, they're only one-body physics. So, like, when you're going around Kerbal, the moon is not pulling on you at all in this game. Whereas in real life, obviously, when you're, you know, in... orbit around the Earth, the moon, wherever it is, over there, is pulling on you at the same time, and it has a small effect, but it is an effect, and it messes with your orbit. And it'll mess with your orbit... Sorry, my nose is so itchy right now. It'll mess with your orbit slightly differently each time you go around, and eventually that messes enough with your Earth orbit that there's a problem. So those are the two biggest differences, is just the power level of the rockets you have is bigger in this game, and it's only single body physics. There was a mod a while back that made it in body physics, meaning it actually simulates all of the bodies pulling on you at once. I don't know if it still is around, and I personally am not super interested in that because it makes stable orbits really hard to do. You know, in real life, like on the space station, they have little thrusters that compensate for the moon throwing its orbit out of whack. But you couldn't automate that in this game, and so because you can't easily like automate all your things keeping on track, it would be kind of annoying to constantly be going back to each of your craft just to recircularize their orbits or whatever. Anyway, I need to probably wait until I'm over the Space Center again. And then I'm going to thrust prograde until my altitude is, or my apoapsis is 9.8 million. And we're going to get geostationary going here. So we'll orbit the planet here. And I always don't, sometimes it's too dark. Look at this. You can't see nothing, which I understand that is technically how it is. But I don't like that. How do I make it less dark? The ambient light boost doesn't seem to be doing it. Is it map? No. Huh. Maybe I can't. I have not played Kerbal Space Program 2. What I think of it is it's a total mess. Total travesty. The game is dead. And that's very sad. There's a sunrise. Over a beautiful planet. Where are we, though? Where's the Space Center? Okay, we're a while away from the Space Center here. We'll wait till we're in contact. There we go. So now's a good time. So we'll point prograde here, which with these tiny reaction wheels is going to take like multiple minutes. I will time warp. I could have just jettisoned this whole big booty a while ago because the other stage has enough delta V, but I hate wasting Delta V, so I often am holding on to the previous stage longer than I need to. Okay. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Well, like I said, I can just jettison that stage. Everything's fine. We should be fine without it. I didn't need to wait that long. Alright, here's our journey. Journey into the wild unknown. So Apoapsis up to 9.8 million is the goal on this burn. And that'll get us to geostationary height. I should probably look at the exact number. The exact number is 9857453. 9857453. Okay. What is that? I don't even know. Some sort of flight trim simulator thing. Alright. Looking good here. 9857. So we're at 4. And 5 starts to grow faster the further out it gets. 7, 8, 9.4. I will lower the thrust limiter so I can get more fine adjusting here. So that's full thrust now, and you can see how much slower it's growing. We need 9857, so we'll lower this all the way down to, what is it, 0.5? Wait, no, not time warp. That's funny, it does time warp when you're not wanting to. When you're typing into that, it's like the same as... Eesh. I'd like to get it to 0.5, but that doesn't seem very easy. Okay. Anyway, 9857. What's up, Burnt Toast? How's it going? Welcome, welcome. 98574. All right, I'm within 50 meters of the correct apoapsis. And then we will potentially have to take a couple laps, because I don't just want to be in any geostationary orbit. I want to be in a geostationary orbit above the DSN, because it's possible that when I get there, the planet's rotated wrong. So I may have to loop around a couple times here. Hey, thanks for the follow, Burnt Toast. And I will have a good stretch here in a moment. Actually, this might work out properly. Seems like I'm gonna reach apoapsis here just about the right time. Perfect. All right, so here we thrust prograde again. We're still angled to prograde there, and at this point, I'm trying to get my orbital period to be exactly 1 day. Oh, I can pump up that thrust limiter again. We have 1,000 delta V left. Hopefully that's enough for what we need. Vertical speed down to 0. -2 meters a second. We want 9857 still. That one. Doodly doodly doo. 9857.1. Perfect. Orbital period 1 day, 2 hours, 43 minutes. What? It's not good. Why is that not? I wonder if that orbital period is based on a normal day, not the changed day. That's an interesting question. Yeah. Because we have rescale, so the days are longer. Interesting. 32, 336. Do I have the... Sorry, I'm trying to just figure out if I'm at the right geostationary orbit here or not. Let's go to the tracking station and see if it can tell us anything. Oh... Stretch. You guys at home should stretch. I know you've been sitting in one spot for too long. Or at work, if you're at work watching. Yeah, the orbital period is kind of jacked up. Excuse me. Like, does it know in game? Does it think a day is only 6 hours when it's not? No. Day 2, 8 hours and like 43 minutes, right? Oh, it's 9 hours. Okay. But my orbital period being less than 9 hours. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't feel like I'm... It's rotating away from me. I didn't end up in the right orbit here. Huh. Interesting. Why are we not in the right orbit? According to the calculations, geostationary height is 9857. Is that above the point mass, I wonder? Did I need to subtract the radius of Kerbal from that? Maybe. What's 9800 minus 1920? Maybe 7880. Oh, is what I needed. Potentially. The goal with this particular flight is to get a geostationary satellite going. And I went too high. But this number is 0.9913. Is that correct? Compared to the Oh, that's the wrong one. Maybe. The 857. Let's try that. 7937. That gets you to exactly 1 day. Okay. So a geostationary satellite is a satellite that stays in the same position relative to the planet. So you can plop it directly above the Space Center, and it'll always be above the Space Center. Unfortunately, I don't think I have enough Delta V to remove this satellite, so I think we're going to have to just call this a failure of a mission. I only have 400 Delta V left. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Ain't no way. I need about 800 Delta V. No, wait. Sorry. Oh! No. We do have enough Delta V. According to my nerd sheet, I only need 81 Delta V to make this change. Okay. So retrograde. And it's telling me, well, I guess I don't need to calculate Delta V. Like the burn on the first half and the second half. Because... oh, sorry, 160 Delta V is what I need. Thankfully, I still have that much. So I just need to burn till I'm at 7937. 7937.5. Okay. 7. Thrust limiter go way down. 7937. So we're at 8,000. 79 and 37.5. There we go. All right. So then we wait until we get to our periapsis in 6 hours. Hopefully we maintain connection. Oh, I went too long. Crap. Okay, here we are. 14 minutes. Okay. So from here, I should be able to then do a little bit more retrograde action. And with any luck, we can get our orbital period to exactly 1 day. Full thrust ahead. Oh. That went faster than I thought it would. Oh yeah, this even knows geosync minus 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Okay. Alright, so then the trick, if to get real precise... Now, I have the station keeping mod, and I'll show you in a second what that can do. But the real trick to get the most precise of adjustments is to go radial. If you thrust radial, exactly, it actually does not change your orbital period, which is interesting. And so if you're very close to radial, about 95% of your thrust is... No, sorry, 99% of your thrust is going towards doing nothing. So it's a way to more minutely change your orbital period. And then if you turn this all the way down and then you do just the tiniest amount of thrust here, you've got 3 different ways that you're reducing, you know, your thrust impact. And then that helps you make the tiniest, look at this, tiny changes towards your orbital period. So I actually need to make slightly larger changes for a second. Bring it down by a few seconds. There we go. And we can get within 1/1000th of a second here. There's 050, 035, 002. Oh, 997. There it is, 001. Shoot. All right, that's close enough. 1/1000th of a second, which means every 1,000 days, I've moved 1 second around. But wait, that said geosynchronous plus 63 seconds. Right. I want my orbital period to be less than a day. Sorry, I keep screwing this up. Because it's 7937 500. What is 21? Sorry, 1 second. I have to count on my spreadsheet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so I need my semi-major axis. Maybe that's what I should be looking at, is my SMA. So what I'm looking at here is this is the geostationary height. I need my semi-major axis to be exactly double that. Because the semi-major axis is the distance from your periapsis to your apoapsis, and that's what determines your orbital period. What's interesting is it doesn't matter if your apoapsis is equal to your periapsis. Your SMA is what determines your orbital period. So as long as my SMA is exactly double this, then we will have exactly the amount that we need. So that is 19 kilometers, 714,906. So like if we were looking at this, oh, sorry, semi-major's half of that. The major axis is that, so I do just need the 9857453 again. So yeah, we're still off by a bit, and that's because of the stupid thing I just said. We want the sidereal rotation period to be what we're looking at, not the orbital period. We actually need our orbital period to be slightly less than a day. Yeah, it's been a minute since I had to do this. So the reason we need it to be less than a day is because in a day, the planet rotates a little bit more because it rotated around the sun. So to point at the sun again, it has to go a little bit further than 360 degrees. And so anyway, so I said, I mean, I could just look at this G-Sync down here, but, so we said 9857453. So that's this number up here, semi-major axis. 9857. Six 3, 6 2, 9857. And then we want 453. That's pretty close. Okay, so 453 is what we're looking for. So I'm within 30 milliseconds now of a geosynchronous orbit. Oop, 474, that's too much. 453, there we go. I'm within 1 meter of a perfect geostationary orbit. Apparently I'm 4 milliseconds long, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, thankfully, because of occlusion not being 100%, I can still communicate with, even though it's slightly around, but that's because of the difficulty settings I have on. If it hadn't been, before I circularized my orbit, I could have just let it go around 50 times until it lined up again, and then I could have done it. But anyway, we're going to go to the tracking station, and y'all are going to now see the station keeping mod, which is really awesome, because it allows me to correct this to be exactly right, so that even after a billion days, it'll still, well, I don't know about a billion, but after thousands of days. So here it tells me the synchronous orbit. I can select my craft, hit set sync. And so now it set the orbit manually to be exactly right, the synchronous orbit. And essentially what this allows you to do is fix your SMAs to be a certain thing. If you're pretty close but not exactly on, it'll use a small amount of fuel and oxidizer to kind of just manually change the number. And now if we go back and look, and basically as long as you're within, you know, a small percentage of where you're wanting to be, it'll just fix it for you. Now if we look here, well, I guess it doesn't show me anything different than it did before. I guess we could have looked at the orbital period. 858, 56, 363. I wonder what exactly it's supposed to be. 36. My calculation is showing the decimal should be 0.36347. So yeah. But it's saying 56 seconds? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly right. Sweet. Okay, so all of this mission was a success. We now have a satellite with a good range on it. And now I can launch pretty much anywhere and I'll have a connection with the Space Center, right? Because before that was going to be an issue, but now not so much. Now, if you're anywhere, and I kind of got lucky with how far angled it is, because now I could be anywhere in front of the Space Center and I'll have a direct connection. And if I'm anywhere behind the planet, I'll have a connection to this relay. And the relay and the Space Center will always be in the same position relative to each other. That's the whole point of geosynchronous. Again, normally I would have it a little bit more properly aligned, but whatever, it's fine. And now these three things are new positions I could put satellites in for money, basically. And they're all going to be about the same difficulty. I know they look, the purple one looks way bigger, but once you're out to those distances, you don't need much delta V to change. Like if we look at, like let's look at the difference real quick between, where are you? If we were to go from 110 kilometers, or yeah, 110 kilometers, like we already saw, to get to geostationary, we need about 2,000 delta V. If I wanted to get to 20 million meters, that's only 2,200 delta V. If I wanted to get to 200 million meters, it's actually cheaper. Because once you get far enough away, the circularization burn is so much cheaper. So there's actually this weird, like, that's basically just going to escape velocity. So weirdly enough, getting to geostationary is just about as hard as any other orbit you can think of. Yeah, 2 million, costs 1,000 delta V. The moon is at what? 20 million? 50 million? I don't remember. But yeah, it's going to be 2,200 to hit the moon. So weirdly, it's about the same cost regardless. We can get anywhere within the sphere of influence of Kerbal with about 2,000 delta V once we're in orbit. So what that means is I could make money by just doing the satellite I just did into one of those orbits. Let's take a look at our missions again. I might need some money. Which one of you pays the most? 66,000. That's not very much money, given the satellite itself costs like 20,000. So I don't love that. Are there any good field research things? That's a lot of work. Crew report. Tundra. These are all tricky. Those are readings in flight. You have to look at the tracking station to see where those are. If some of them are really close to the Space Center, it could be worth it. I wish you could zoom in more. Actually, I really wish you could zoom in more. It looks like Cantano's landmark is pretty close. Have I been to the moon? No, not yet. That's one of the goals this stream. Actually, do we have probes? They'll give me 100 grand just to take this on, and I need to land probes in 3 different biomes on the moon. Yeah, let's do that. And then I get extra funds for milestone gains. So, we'll go to the moon. I should be able to just use this exact build plus a few delta V to circularize something. So if we take our Glem relay, and if I just beef it up a tiny bit, I can probably take it to the moon. It's already got 2,500 delta V in the last stage. Maybe if I just give it like another couple hundred delta V there, which just costs me some delta V in the lower stages, so maybe I make that a smidge longer. And that should more or less get me to the moon. And then we'll put a satellite in space over the moon. That'll be step 1. Now, having some science gear could be good if we have some of the lighter stuff. So like the thermometer. Only 5 kilograms. Seismic accelerometer doesn't work in space. Barometer does work in space, which is funny because that just checks the pressure of air, so I don't understand that one. This one works in space but is 15 kilograms. I don't know if I can carry all the 15 kilogram ones on this satellite. Maybe I'll just do those 2 for now. Glim Relay 2, you are a go for launch. You shall be the first craft to enter the sphere of influence of the moon. Okay. Anything good over here? No, the fairings are still, or clamshell is still messed up over there. Alright, that'll do it. Hey, Ashcab, how's it going? Is there any end goal? No. I mean, you could set the goal of reaching the end of the tech tree. You could set the goal of landing on every planet, but those are certainly not fixed goals. And especially with the community tech tree, there's a lot of nodes that are empty anyway, so. Alright, so we're flying here. I'm gonna try to tilt over to about 70 degrees. Activate the next stage, liquid hydrogen. I'm actually gonna wait a minute here. Just coast, because I still have 2 minutes to apoapsis, so. Coast for a bit, and then I will... Maybe 60,000 will deploy the clamshells. I don't know. That won't slow me down that much if I do that now. Always a satisfying moment. Alright, now we're gonna need to thrust with about 1:20 left on time to apoapsis. What am I doing? I am currently launching this relay satellite to orbit around the moon. That is the current mission. Okay. I think I'm about ready to thrust a little bit here. The goal is to keep that at about 1 minute. So I'll wait until it gets a little lower. Extend the panels. Extend the antenna. Alright. Speed things up a bit here. I am gonna not thrust above the horizon line. That's a little wasteful, I think. At some point, it's more wasteful to thrust straight side. Like, I never know. It would be very complicated math to figure out which one is more efficient, and it's probably somewhere in the middle a lot of the time. But now that I'm under 10 degrees, I'll just stay prograde. We're just trying to get going fast enough that we miss the planet, as people talk about orbit, is just constantly falling and constantly missing. We gotta get going sideways real fast. Because our vertical speed, if I were to just stop now, the vertical speed would slow down and then I'd start falling again. And that's technically still going to be happening, but I'm going sideways so fast that as I'm falling down, I'm kind of like already curved around where down is now kind of around the planet. And that's how orbit works. I Eccentricity is creeping down. 0.25. 0.2. 1. Alright, just about there. The last little bit goes real fast here. Okay. So we're actually kind of in a weird orbit right now. Apoapsis is a bit higher, but it's not too bad. And now to go to the moon. Oh, crap. I still don't have maneuver. How much money do I have? I don't have enough money to buy maneuver planning. It's a lot harder to get to the moon without maneuvers, but we can do it. It should be a thrust prograde when the moon rises above the horizon is pretty much the way that it works in vanilla. Should be the same in Rescale. I'm gonna save just in case. But yeah, basically I should be able to wait until I see the moon. Here. In the distance. Should be any second now. There it is. That should be it. Oh, did I just run out of battery? That's inconvenient. I'm on the dark side. Don't I have enough electric charge to not run out of battery on the dark side? Maybe the dark side time is longer at this distance? No? Why is my electric charge shrinking? Are these not providing their energy that they told me they would? What's going on here? Oh, it's the boil off. That's what it is. Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really account for the boil off in my calculations. So we'll lose a little bit of delta V over time. It won't be much. Okay, moonrise. And now I have no control. What are the odds? I'm directly across from the relay that I set up. I just can't catch a break. Alright, around we go again. This time, probably still no-go. I'll wait another time so I'll just do 2 more. Basically, I want the Space Center to be underneath me so I actually can not lose signal here. Okay. Angle ourselves towards prograde. I'm physics warping 8x right now because we have the crappiest reaction wheels. And we should just be able to go for it. Burn off the rest of our liquid hydrogen. We lost some delta V because of the boil off. You'll see we still have some oxidizer in there. And now we're just kind of getting this apoapsis up to the moon. is at 36 million meters. And I believe it's a perfectly circular orbit. Yeah. Alright, so there's our apoapsis about to go past the relay. Okay. We're up to 15 million meters on apoapsis. And 36.4. So that's basically it. Question is, will we get caught or not? Only one way to find out. I'm warping it. Seems like we should get caught. It's catching up to us pretty fast. Yeah, I don't know if any of those numbers will help us right now. But yeah, I think the moon is gonna grab us here. Yep, there it is. Sweet! Milestone. World's first milestone. We've initiated the first flyby of the moon. Wow, I kind of nailed it, actually. In fact, is our periapsis too close? I don't know if I want to get that close. And if I... let's see, I'll lose signal if I'm not careful. So I want to do... probably radial in. Is that what we want? Or radial out? I forget which one's out. Yeah. Try to get a little bit further away when we get to the periapsis there, which is 2 hours away. I can do some science. Maybe. I want the other window. Where's the... Where's the other one? Opens here and now window. Right click. Ah, there we go. There's our experiments. Alright, I don't know if I have enough electric charge to transmit these, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, I do. Sweet. Alright, so now I will time warp to periapsis here. I guess we want to be in space low. So I should try to get a periapsis that is about 50,000. Because then we can get more science by being close to the moon. And more money. Or an achievement. Okay. So now we'll time warp to our periapsis here in 2 hours and 44 minutes. Here we go. Dark side of the moon. Alright, there's the little sound. We're in space. Low and close. Might as well do some more science here. Electric charge is disappearing, though. So I need to be careful. I might wait until we've circularized our orbit before I spend energy on science. Okay, time to periapsis is only 10 seconds, so now's as good a time as any to circularize. Cool little sunrise we got going on here, look at that. And our eccentricity is now dropped down to 0.5, 0.4, 0.2, 0.1, 0.01, that's totally fine. Sweet! We did it! We are in orbit of the moon! And then I need to review my science. Is there a review science button? Or do I have to do it one by one? Probably one by one. Here's my electric charge. So then the barometer, review data, send it. Temperature, review data, send it. Now, I don't know which experiment it was, but one of them is per biome. So if I just fast forward here, it should pull me out of time warp. When we go over a new biome? No? Maybe not. Okay, never mind. Now, here's the real question. Can we land on the moon with this bad boy? Or should we just leave it? I think... No, we wouldn't be able to get... Because to cancel out our surface speed would be 1,000 delta V right now. And that's not accounting for all the extra gravity you have to fight on the way down. So we won't be able to land on the moon, so I probably should stay where I am. In fact, the best thing I could do would be to reposition myself into a polar orbit. So you might ask, why does polar matter over equatorial? Well, it's because all the planets are aligned sideways. And so if you're in a polar orbit, you're going to be basically on the dark side away from Kerbal every single orbit, no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter where the moon is in its journey around Kerbal. If you're in an equatorial orbit, you're always going to have a dark side transit time where you can't see Kerbal. If you're in a polar orbit, however, for part of the month, basically, if it's a month that this takes to go around, for part of it, your polar orbit is going to be sideways. So we're going to be going around the moon this way, and we'll be able to access Kerbal the whole time, right? And then yes, when the moon is over on this part of its orbit, we'll still have a dark side time. But a polar orbit makes it so that for a large portion of the trip that your moon has around its parent body, you actually have full access to the home body. So what I want to do is raise my orbit and angle it at the same time. Also, there's this really weird effect I'm seeing. Look, when I zoom out, it like has almost like a visual, like little laggy, I don't know what you call that. I feel like that's a new effect. I don't remember having seen that. Might be one of the mods. Anyway, I have no control right now, so I need to do some more orbiting till I have probe control here. There we go. And I'm going to boost prograde and what's going on? Am I still time warping? That's why I can't move. So we're gonna do half prograde, half normal, or anti-normal, doesn't really matter. to put ourselves into a more tilted orbit for the reasons I just discussed. So it will both turn and raise our orbit. I'm going to turn it a little bit more, actually. I only have 376 delta V left, so I'm gonna chill there. We're gonna go to the apoapsis, which is in 10 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 1 minute, and here we go. And then we will prograde burn to raise our periapsis. I don't know if I can fully circularize here or not, but looks like I can. 02, 01, 001 eccentricity. Nice. So that's nice and circle. Nice and circular. And we are tilted enough that I think we'll get the effect that I said, where, you know, we should have good access to Kerbal even when we're at the top and bottom. So that worked out, just barely. 265 delta V left, and now we have a moon satellite, which is not positioned perfectly, but it's good enough that if we're doing something around the moon, we have a decent shot at having access to this relay instead of Kerbal. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay. Now, the next goal is going to be landing on the moon. Or maybe another moon satellite. How much money do I have? The amount of monies that I have is 241. That's not bad. That means I can finally upgrade these. So now I can actually do maneuver planning. Oh, that costs more than I thought it would. I only have 16,000 now. Okay, I need to do a money mission. How about some part testing? What pays the most? Escape trajectory out of Kerbal. It's a 3.75 meter nose cone. So that is a big chonker, but I'll get paid 60,000 to do it. So let's warp to Sunrise, because nighttime rocket launches at the pits. And then I'll build a lot of boosters. Should be all we need. More boosters is the strategy that all players of Kerbal Space Program know. And it is the good strategy. So you want Sepatron nose cone? Where even do I find that thing? Space Y SNC3. Where even is that? There it is. Oh, it's big. Oh, she chonkin'. Oh boy. So I need to get that into space. I'm gonna remove the solid fuel from it so it weighs less. And then I'm gonna put the probe core underneath it. And then we're gonna put... Okay, this won't be that bad. The aerodynamics are gonna be a mess. Look. This is gonna work. Just you watch. So we get a decoupler. And yeah, see, that has a thrust to weight ratio above 1. I don't think 3000 delta V is enough. So maybe this first one is a triple. And then we just need some big fins at the bottom. Like this. To keep it flying straight. This is a great idea. This cannot fail. Literally impossible to fail. And we can spin stabilize. No reason not to spin stabilize. Okay. And then we'll just make the little doodads to hold it. And there we go. A perfecter rocket has never been designed. Let's see if this thing can get to an escape trajectory. I don't know if 3000 dV is enough. I might need more. Might need some more. We'll see. All right. Literally just going straight up. Could I have put aerodynamic nose cones on those? Yes, I could have. Would it have mattered? I'm not sure. This is amazing. Like an arrow. Honestly, I've had far worse flights. This is going pretty well so far. As Kerbal Space Program launches, this is A+. Alright, almost done with stage 1, and on to stage 2. Alright, we might be a little too spinny on that one. But we'll see what kind of height we can get here. 2000 delta V, that is quite a lot. I don't think it's gonna be enough. No, it's not. Maybe it's time for one of those hydrogen engines, because those have so much. Those have so much ISP, which is basically a fuel efficiency rating. Why don't I put 0.75, same size. One meter, liquid hydrogen, and we'll put that, that engine? Yeah, there we go. That's got 3800 delta V. And then, how expensive is that though? 1600 for that engine. That's actually not very much. And then I'll put a couple boosters on the bottom. Maybe I'll do just this triple one that we had. Yeah, let's try it that way. This is a lot of work for what is just a test. This will be our first craft on an escape trajectory, worth noting. Interesting, those fins aren't turning us very quickly, even though they're angled. I wonder if that's because the the aerodynamics is like the air's hitting this stuff, so it's not hitting those fins. I don't know. Oh, that's something I should have been more worried about. This is harder than I thought it would be. Okay, fine. Go longer and skinnier. $5,400. I might need closer to 6,000. Do something like that. Alright. This is gonna work. This is gonna work. Escape trajectory, here we come. I could also just add more boosters. Again, a well-known strategy. More boosters. I don't even know. So, escape velocity. Oh, wait. We got, need to do more spinning. Again, do these have gimbal? Huh. Interesting. Whoa, 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 whoa. Try to fly straight up, please. Not succeeding. How hard is it? There we go. Mostly. Alright, 3,000 delta V left. Is that enough to get to escape velocity? Maybe. The other thing I've wondered about is it easier if your goal is just to get on an escape trajectory? Do you just thrust up until you're going fast enough? Or do you thrust up and then over to raise your apoapsis back here to escape velocity? I actually don't know which one is more delta V efficient. But yeah, we're not gonna have enough. I only have 1,000 delta V more. Crap. This is harder than I thought it would be. This thing is so fat. Carrying a carrying a 1-ton thing to 675 kilogram thing is a lot harder than a 100 kilogram thing. I will say that. So I probably need to think a little bit more about this. Let's just hide that up in there. What are my cheapest engines? Terrier is cheap, but slow. There we go. Almost 6,000 delta V if we can just get that into orbit. Or launch it. And that's an 11-minute burn. What if I boosters. Maybe this is possible. Decoupler. Yeah, that does weigh a lot. So that's the benefit to the liquid hydrogen version. That does only cost 2,600, but the liquid hydrogen version is nice because it weighs less for the same delta V, which then means the solid rocket boosters underneath it can do more. I think it's probably worth it to do the liquid hydrogen thing. Maybe I can make it even a little. Oop. A little fatter. Go for 5,000 delta V here. Get some other texture here. Alright, now how many of these guys do I need? Will these be more efficient? 718 meters a second for 1,200. 592 for 850, or 768 for 11. Only 768, huh? Interesting. Still more efficient than these, though. Maybe the strategy is a thumper. A couple of those. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now. Alright. Let's try this. I think we have enough delta V to get to space. We will find out. Do 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 do. Okay. Do it. I don't think I made a good decision by not putting fins on stage 2. We don't have enough delta V on stage 1. Maybe I should make stage 1 2 stages. We'll do the 3 outers, jettison them, do the inner, then jettison that, and maybe by that point we'll be out of the main atmospheric drag. This is gonna flip me over, assuredly. Yes, yes, indeed it will. Okay. I thought this was gonna be an easy mission, but I didn't really think about the fact that I'd want to not spend too much money because it's a mission about making me money. So it ended up being harder than I thought it would be. But that's part of the fun, right? You know, it's like, you could call this emergent gameplay. Kind of is. Okay, so if we have this in 2 stages, That should give me a bit more delta V. Okay, what am I doing? Launch clamps let go at the same time as the first SRBs fire. There we go. And that happens at the same time. Which means the fins should be around this guy. Not those. Alright, let's try this version. This is gonna do it. I believe. Oh man. Here I thought we'd be building a moon lander. And instead we're just trying to launch a piece of junk into the stratosphere, huh? So far so good. I still don't know if this is enough delta V. Now that was different. That was amazing. So when I jettisoned these, they were actually more aerodynamic than this. So they, even though I had thrust and these didn't anymore, I still slowed down faster. That's really interesting. So those ended up running into me. Should be able to fix that by doing that and this. No, sorry, this. That should fix the problem. Because then they'll like fly off to the side, hopefully. Let's see if that works. I do need to head out soon, but I really want to succeed on this mission first. I want to win. But yeah, now they should launch kind of out and down, so hopefully they don't run into me when I jettison them. Alright, come on, baby. You got this. You got this. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Oh, that was so close. Come on. Just barely smacked the bottom. Okay. So I move that down another couple ticks. That should do it. Yeah, because that'll increase the force. Or at least I should say the experienced torque will be higher because it's further away from the center of mass of the empty booster that we're pushing it. Alright, come on. Come on, you got it. You got it. You're the one. You're gonna make it. You. Yes, you. You're gonna do it. Okay, stage 2 coming up. Let's see if it breaks anything this time. And no, we made it. Jeez. Wow. What are TWR, it is 1.5, but yeah, I guess the drag was slowing us down big time. There's way more drag than I thought there would be on this baby. Way more drag. We're having to push a lot of air out of the way. That's gonna be same stage. Alright. Now, I've got 5,500 meters a second of delta V. So we should be okay. I think that's enough to get to escape trajectory. It's also possible I just need to use more stages and not do solid rocket boosters, but then we're spending, I mean, this contract only totals to like 70 grand. Thought it would be cheaper. So I want the orbit prograde pretty soon. Once this Atmo efficiency goes below 10%, I think I can flip over. Because that's going to give us the most additional, because then we're thrusting directly in line with like our current trajectory. I think that gives us, maybe it doesn't. Would it be better to keep going straight up? I'm not really sure. Again, I'm not sure what's the most efficient route to escape trajectory. 3,600 DV left. Hopefully that's enough. What's up, typical plant? Hello, hello. Alright, I'm gonna physics warp here. And let's just see if we get enough. Wow, we're not gonna make it. We're not freaking gonna make it. Wow. The mission I'm doing is just a contract that I took on thinking it would be easy to haul this stupid thing into an escape trajectory from Kerbal. The problem is it's huge, and even with all the fuel taken out of it, it still weighs 675 kilograms. And so that means we have to haul a lot of weight away from the planet very quickly. Escape trajectory is also very fast. So I guess the next step is another set of boosters. What's the worst thing that happens? What's the worst thing that happens? So I should probably auto strut those. Those go off, and then the outer layer of decouplers. That gets us an extra 663. Maybe worth it. Let's try that. What kind of tech do I currently have? Pretty early tech still. Just the first, like, 2 nodes worth horizontally. Like, I still have some of the 90s that I haven't purchased, so pretty early tech. Landing on the moon is my main mission next, after this nonsense is done. This was just to make some money to make the moon lander. Or, well, no, I'm probably not quite ready for a moon lander. Probably what I need next is another moon satellite relay, or 2, so that my moon lander, regardless of where it is, will have comms connection. Yeah, and then Minmus will be after the moon, of course. And they're all going to be unmanned landers. As far... At this stage of the game, I do only unmanned. Because of the probes before crew tech tree stuff, I haven't even unlocked a manned lander yet. Or if I have, have I unlocked one? I don't think so. Okay. This might make it. Might make it this time. Because now I'm going a lot faster for the thumper stage. Which yeah, and I'm far higher up through the atmosphere, so I'm not fighting the same soupy atmosphere. Yeah, Minmus is actually less Delta V than the moon, which is weird. It's only a tiny bit more expensive to get there, and it's way cheaper to land on it because... Frick, how did I run out of electric charge? Well, that's a problem. That didn't happen last time, did it? No, I was able to activate my staging and stuff. That's weird. Well, I'm guessing these don't have any generators in them, but why did that? I guess this takes 1 EC per second to cool the hydrogen. That's not nothing. So I do need some batteries on here. Let's do some polygons here. Alright. Those are some little batteries, 468 apiece. Those might be too big. Or a little smaller. 197. Gives me 9 minutes more. That should be good. Solar panels, maybe? Those aren't really going to be that much lighter. I think it's better to just put batteries. Because this thing doesn't need... it just needs to be on an escape trajectory. I don't need to wait until I'm out of the sphere of influence. So basically, as soon as this thing gets going fast enough, we can run the test and then be done. And that's it. That's all we needs to do. Okay, I'm gonna physics warp this. Go twice as fast. Next stage. Ooh, it didn't do that last time. Got a little wobblier with the physics at 2x. It shouldn't. I don't... That's weird. Do I have it to not calculate physics properly? I thought I did. Better time warp. Advanced physics settings. It has lossless physics. On accuracy of 1. Interesting. I wonder if it messes with SAS performance, though. Possible it does. Because it didn't turn over last time. I do have fins on it, on the central thumper. They're not huge. It was enough last time to keep me going straight up. Let me slow time down again before I do this. like it's definitely close to flipping over. But the fact that it's staying in a straight line means the torque is not super high. Alright, speed things up a little bit. And next stage. There we go. Speed things up a bit. Now our electric charge is surviving. And I think there's an alternator on the fueled engine, liquid fueled engine. We're about to find out. Yes, there is. So it'll charge itself back up while it's running. Now I think I'll have enough Delta V. 5,000 more on top of this seems like enough to get going. Hey, Derpamoo, how's it going? I'm not a Kerbalism guy. I don't want to have to deal with Kerbal food and oxygen and such. I find that it's one small mistake just always means death for Kerbals, pretty much. Especially with like the Outer Planets mod, you know, you're talking like a 10-year mission. And it's like, oh, I missed my transfer window, and you can't just be like, oh, okay, well, I'll just loop around one more time, you know, but you can't really do that in real missions, which is what some people want, but I kind of like to be a little flexible. Obviously, in real space missions, everything does have to go perfect, which is kind of the point. All right, 3,000 DV left. We're almost at 1 million. 2,000 DV left. Oh gosh, are we gonna make it? Are we really not gonna make it? Oof. Very close. Very close. Brr. Well, about to get you just a little bit more. Maybe I could have a smaller... let's see. Do you have a lighter hydrogen engine? Stromboli, you're the one. Maybe we do like a little one. So there's like another 1,500 Delta V. Oh, this is the longest short mission I've ever been on. And it messed up all my staging. Damn you. Wait, that just goes there. And that goes there. There we go. Yeah, Kerbal Space Program eats RAM for breakfast. It's specifically this game, modded Kerbal Space Program at least, is the reason I'm concerned about the aerodynamics of this, but we'll see. It's the reason I have 32 gigs of RAM instead of just 16. I never needed more than 16 until modded KSP. Is it only about designing rock to go places? Yes and no, Derpamoo. It has a lot of aerodynamic stuff, so you can make planes. A lot of people make planes. A lot of people recreate historical rockets. A lot of people go make colonies on the moon. There's lots of mods to add like colonization stuff, so you can make like bases and make rovers to go mining for ore on the moon and then bring it back. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you can do. It's all semi-janky. Because you know, the game itself is just about planes and rockets. And mods tend... Well, the base game added some of the colonization stuff in the DLC, but yeah, if you're gonna play modded KSP, you have to be willing to put up with a little bit of jank, but it tends to work pretty well once you get it installed correctly, at least. Right now, I'm just on a mission to haul this stupid thing onto an escape trajectory. That's literally all I'm trying to do. Ooh, we are wanting to fall over here. But I should be okay once I get past the thicker part of the atmosphere, which is like, once I get to 20,000 meters, I should be okay. I am a bit worried. I don't think the Thumper has a gimbal, so I might be screwed. Well, maybe it does. It does look a lot like a Gemini cap, but those are thrusters on the side. It's an escape. It's a Sepratron nose cone. So basically, this would be the nose cone for a massive booster, and so when you separate the booster, it would fire itself off to the side to get out of the way. So it is just a nose cone at the end of the day. Alright. Surely... And I'm gonna go prograde on orbit. Maybe I'll get a little bit more vertical first. We'll go to like 85 degrees. Here. Alright, I'm gonna speed up time a bit. We'll go to 4x. And then maybe once I'm going about 2 kilometers a second, I'll go straight prograde. And then we'll see if we brought enough fuel this time. It's been surprisingly difficult. So my final speed this time is going to be what? Like 6,000 meters a second? I hope that's enough. I hope that's enough. Gimbal needs to be a little limited there. Our apoapsis is at 10 million. It should start to go pretty fast, but I fear 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50. I think we're gonna make it. We made it. Oh, jeez, that was just barely enough. Okay, so now we're on an escape trajectory. And now I just need to test this bad boy. Where's the test button? Why is there no... Oh, there we go. I had to stage it. Okay. Oh, jeez. That was a mission and a half. On the plus side, we also should make a little bit of money for... Although it's not a moon-related milestone, so it might not give me much money, but actually exiting will take 5 days, but we exited... Yeah, we lost a bunch of money for that. That's bothersome. I have a what's it called? Strategy in place right now to make it so that I get a lot more money for moon-related milestones, and until I finish landing a probe on 3 biomes in the moon, it makes all other milestones make less money. So basically, the next thing for me to do is just get moon-related stuff finished. I can get one more research, though. Probably should be... Probably... Miniaturization? Maybe? I don't actually need any of those things. I definitely want the next one after it, but heavy rocketry is always pretty handy. Having kickbacks is nice. But I don't probably need this for this next mission. Yeah, I think that's the one with the skipper, or maybe the next one's the skipper. These are more the, but like with Space Y, I get the sort by mass here. Oh, it is the skipper, yeah. But before the skipper, I generally use the Kiwi. Kiwi's freaking awesome. So the Kiwi has slightly worse fuel efficiency, but it weighs half the weight of the skipper. So, and it has almost the same thrust amounts. It's crazy. I mean, it's a little less, but it's a 1.25 meter, which is, you know, this size rather than the giant size. So anyway, let's now. Hey, yeah, I'm probably about done here, Derpamoo. My next goal is to get a relay satellite around the moon. Probably across from the other one. So I should just be able to launch the one we already have. But yeah, I gotta get out of here. It's 5 o'clock. I've streamed far too long. But yeah, so our next mission will be another of the Glim relays. It'll be another of these, and we'll match it up with the other one, slightly offset from 180 degrees. So that'll give me almost perfect coverage of the moon sphere. And then the mission after that will be a moon landing probe, because we've already got one around the moon. So that should do it. But yeah, I gotta get out of here. So unfortunately, there will be no moon landings today, but the next stream should be it. But thanks for hanging out, everyone. There will be more Kerbal Space Program in the future.